Good Monday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith on this rather cloudy last Monday to the month of April 2015. And on this final Monday, the 27th of April 2015, you're walking outside this morning to near seasonable temperatures for overnight lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. There's quite a lot of mid-level cloud cover around the region with a light northwesterly wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And the morning pass of visible satellite imagery this morning shows our mid-level deck of clouds under a somewhat trapped thermal gradient here in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere around 6,000 feet or so. And there's some clearing patches across southern New Jersey, but for the most part, generally a cloudy start to the morning across the region. There's a little bit of lift here in the moisture content on the water vapor satellite imagery this morning as our upper level low continues to spin away out into the southern Canadian provinces here, the maritime areas. We can see this with spokes of energy wrapping around the western side of this. As our storm complex here across the southern plains, this will have an interaction with another disturbance across the Great Lakes and the northern portions of the polar jet here as we get towards the weekend. As we get in towards later this week, and that means that we could find an interaction between the two, and where this lies will mean the difference between having moderate to heavy rain across the region, even a thunderstorm across the Delmarva later on Thursday night, or just cloudy skies with little precipitation across the north. We'll get into that in just a moment. Morning surface chart from weatherroanoke.com and digital atmosphere software shows a couple of disturbances here with the trough access over southern New England, and basically high pressure still in control of our weather, but quite a lot of cloud cover across the region as a result of this upper low still spinning away and weakening as it does so across the region, with a couple of vortexes rounding the base of it, but not really interfering with our weather as the lower levels of the atmosphere are too dry for any kind of precipitation. Here's our storm system to the south now, getting into Louisiana, and this is going to be a focal point for the forecast as we get later into the week. And of course, as we exit the month of April and go into May, we still have the flourishing of oak, birch, and maple, and windy conditions and dry atmosphere promoting the pollen concentrations to be on the high side today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. Watches, warnings, and advisories. We have small craft advisories in effect until 8 p.m. this evening for northwest winds at 15 to 25 knots, gust up to 30 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet across the New Jersey coastal waters. The back bays of the Delaware here still has the same kind of thing, with northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots, gust up to 30 knots, seas in the Delmarva region 2 to 4 feet. And here out on Long Island and the south shores of Long Island and New York's harbor here, northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots, gust up to 25 knots. And the timing of this will be from 6 p.m. this evening to 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning. On the aviational weather deck today, basically VFR conditions through tonight. There could be a few embedded short waves across the region today, moving from north to south. A shield of clouds across northern Pennsylvania will progress southward early today and then bring mid-level cloudiness into the region early tonight. Later today, we'll have some scattered out cumulus clouds, and more alto cumulus clouds will affect the region. A very little small possibility for a shower, but none were inserted into the TAP forecast. Winds mostly from the northwest at 5 to 10 knots early, and then pick up in speeds as some around 20 knots this afternoon. Scattered to broken clouds tonight with moderate northwest winds continuing. Tuesday VFR flying conditions with predominance of broken clouds at or above 5,000 feet by mid-afternoon. Northwest winds gusting to 20 to 25 knots, diminishing at night. And Wednesday VFR clear with cirrus arriving late in the day. West-northwest winds at or above 15 knots during the day, light at night. Thursday and Thursday night, things get interesting. VFR ceilings, occasionally MVFR or IFR conditions and rain. The chance of a thunderstorm in the Delaware Thursday night is possible. East to northeast winds may gust to 20 to 30 knots late Thursday. Probably impact on operations at Philadelphia. Friday, blustery morning and rain around the region early in the morning. Otherwise, mainly VFR ceilings with clearing during the afternoon and at night. Northwest winds gust to 25 to 35 knots. And it's going to be quite remarkable out there later this week. Into the weekend, things look better. Right now outside of Newark, it's 49 degrees. That's about normal for this time of the year. Dew point 32 degrees. The relative humidity 52%. The normal is around 48, 49 degrees for this time of the morning. Now we'd have a northwest wind at around 8, scattered clouds at 6,000 and 7,000. Again, the story today will be an increasing deck of cloud cover across the region and the winds increasing, but basically VFR conditions in place. Same thing at Philadelphia. This temperature right now 49, dew point 30, humidity 48%. Wind is northwest at 9 with a broken ceiling at 8,500. And the agricultural forecast for northwestern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania from Rutgers University in New Brunswick. Rainfall amounts less than a tenth of an inch this afternoon and evening, and none later tonight and Tuesday. Spraying winds out of the north-northwest 10 to 15 through Tuesday. Relative humidities 30 to 40% today, 80 to 90% tonight, 30 to 40% on Tuesday. Dew points will be in the low to mid 30s through Tuesday, and there's a fair to good amount of drying today and Tuesday, and we're expecting some light dew with a slight chance of wetting in the early shower activity or any time later tonight, and light dew Tuesday night. And about 30% sunshine today, 90% sunshine on Tuesday. Large-scale look at the 500 millibar analysis and water vapor channel from yesterday. Here's our upper low still spinning out over the Canadian Maritimes with spokes of vorticity rounding around it, and therefore the clouds around the region today. Much better tomorrow as this whole thing departs. This is our next weather maker for Thursday and Thursday night and Friday, and this disturbance here, we'll have to pay attention. If there's a phase between these two, this system will get caught up around the Virginias and possibly further to the north. Most of the modeling in the ensembles keep it to the east and south of the region, but still there will be precipitation and gusty winds around the coast, making for raw conditions on Thursday and Thursday night. We'll get into that in just a moment. Latest HRR model from the Penn State eWall site shows self-destructive sunshine today. As a result of that, we find cumulus and altocumulus clouds, some of the disturbances rotating on the back side of the upper low, so you have a popcorn look to the showery activity, and it could be some sprinkles. But again, the lower layers of the atmosphere with an inverted V signature show the air is too dry, but some sprinkles around the region. Outside of this will be clearing skies for later this afternoon and tonight into early tomorrow morning as the low finally pulls away. Now, of course, there is some definitive decisions to make here about Thursday night, and Friday around the region. The GFS model, and probably more so its even ensemble blend, continue to form a storm off the Carolina coast with an interaction between polar disturbance and this disturbance in the subtropical branch for Thursday and Thursday night. Meanwhile, the European model guidance continues, and some of the Canadian model guidance as well, and the ensembles continue this further to the south. But the impacts will be an onshore flow and cooler weather, and definitely pockets or periods of rain around the region Thursday night, and Friday before everything clears out. This is what the GFS is showing, with the storm system hanging on and developing across the south as it moves so. And here comes the next disturbance here. As this rounds the base and comes up the coast of the Carolina coast, we have this disturbance here in the polar jet, and these two will form some kind of merger. Some partial phase is possible. The GFS is showing that primarily this deepens rather rapidly with an onshore nasty northeast to east southeast flow across the region on Thursday afternoon and Thursday night and Friday morning, and then heads out. So there'll be periods of rain around the coast, interior sections moderate to heavy at times if this pans out. And this would mean that strong northeast to easterly winds would pound the coastal surf, and we'll definitely be paying attention to that. But it's not going to stay around too long. It'll be moving out Friday night and then further away out off the coast. Now, then high pressure and milder weather is in store on all model guidances for this weekend. Now, pretty much the Canadian model guidance as well is showing slightly different interaction with not the complete phase here. So this storm and this area of low pressure do not phase together, or area of in the polar jet here do not phase. So there's no phasing here on the Canadian model guidance, and none on the European model guidance as well. So this keeps the whole thing just basically to the south and east of the region. We can see this on the European model guidance. Again, there is very little interaction here between this disturbance here and this storm in the coastal plain here. So the European model guidance continues it south and east of the benchmark for the weekend, and then warming conditions. Even all guidances, no matter what you're looking at, produce warmer conditions with a ridging across the eastern United States into the northern mid-Atlantic region this weekend, and that means plenty of warm weather is on the way for the first weekend of May. European 500 millibar, basically this is the ensemble forecast with all of the members in it, keeps the storm off the Carolina coast this weekend with ridging on the way. Now, the GFS and its members here in the ensemble show that there's going to be some kind of interaction between the two. The low will slow up and deepen off the Carolina coast, but even the ensemble model guidance is showing that this should be further to the south and east. But portions of southern New Jersey, the Delmarva region, and the coastal regions could be impacted with onshore winds and some minor coastal flooding. And finally, the Canadian model guidance shows that the storm system will remain out to the south and east of the region, and that should not affect us too much. So what we're learning here is that there's differences between the European model guidance and basically all of the other model guidance as well, and we're going to have to pay close attention. But there could be a period of strong winds, coastal flooding near times of high tide this weekend, Thursday night, and Friday particularly, before everything begins to warm up and dry out for the first weekend of May. So for everything live, it's Garden State Weather, gardenstateweather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Make it a great Monday. We'll be back in video form on Tuesday morning.